Hi, you guys. This is Renata. I'm going to answer a listener's question. And she says, Renata, I know that you don't have all the answers. No, I don't. I am trusting God, like everyone else, to reveal things to me. And so I'm still seeking answers myself. But I'll see if I can shed any light on your question. Okay, so she says, Renata, I know that you don't have all the answers. I'm still trying to understand how they can turn everyone, including family, against me. It's hard, but I still trust God. Okay, I'm so glad to hear you say that you still trust God because through all of this, God is in this. He has a master plan for all of our lives, and sometimes it does not include the people that we feel should be in our lives for the rest of our lives. Okay, and I'll go into that more in a few minutes. Okay, she also asks if the people participating in the targeting are being paid. My answer to that is that I think that most of them are being paid, and of course, we saw most of us have seen Nappy Head Roots video where he was speaking with the perp, and the perp told him about the gift cards. And there was another guy who did a video, and the guy said that he was talking to a perp in the grocery store. I forget the name of that video, but the perp that he was talking to said how he was a veteran, and I believe he said he was getting paid. So there's a few confirmations out there that most perps are receiving some form of payment. Um, and then I've heard stories about, they get cars, and some of them get places to live, and, different things. I also think like places in the workplace, well, I should say places like in the workplace. I think that some people are getting different incentives, like they might get promotions or maybe get an extra bonus on their check or something like that. Okay, I can't confirm that. That's just my belief. But then I think that there are people who participate that are not being paid. I just don't believe everybody's being paid because sometimes there are situations where it may just be a one-time thing where that person is asked to watch you or surveil you or perp you in some sort of way, maybe even do some sort of tactic on you. And I can say that because when I go places like the grocery store, and the employees there target me because I get targeted by employees and perps who are sent in. Um, I don't think that those people who are already at work, meaning the store clerks, I don't think they're getting paid extra to target me. I mean, it's a possibility because maybe they target different people all day long. So going back to those incentives that I talked about in the workplace, that I believe some people get in the workplace, maybe that applies at different businesses as well. I am not sure, but I just don't think that every single person gets paid, if that makes any sense. Sometimes I think it's just, a one time thing or every now and then. Like, I don't believe that each and every one of my neighbors is being paid. I do believe that several of them, quite a few of them in my area, are part of the bigger perpetrator network where they go to trainings and, they probably are on the payroll somewhere. But I don't believe each and every single person who has been put up to targeting me in the neighborhood are paid. Okay, so when it comes to, because you spoke about your family members, so when it comes to family members, I don't think every single family member is being paid either. I think there are some who have signed up for the whole, shebang, but I don't believe that each and every person. So that's my answer to that. Um, and you said that you're trying to understand how they can turn everyone against you. And again, not everyone is involved. It really does feel that way. It does. And that's exactly how they want us to feel, because they want us to buy into learned helplessness, where we won't even try to meet people or try to form friendships with people because of all the betrayal we've experienced. And they want you to believe that every single person you come in contact with is involved in your targeting, but it's just not the case. Because if that was the case, then they wouldn't um, be so adamant about making sure that we're in isolation. Because I believe that part of the isolation piece is to keep you separated from people and to keep you from exposing this program and to keep you from forming friendships and talking to people, because there are some people that just won't go for this. And if we informed everybody who we should be trying to inform, then there are some people that will wake up to this. And so I think that that is part of the whole isolation thing, is just to get you not to even talk to people, because there are some people who can speak on a level where they would be very credible, and people would begin to understand what our government, because I believe it's government, what our government is doing to us. So I don't think that everybody is involved. I just don't. I think there are a lot of awakened people out there, and actually more and more people are becoming awakened. So back to trying to understand how all this is happening. I'm sharing my understanding. So if anybody is listening to this and you have some insight, please leave your comments in the comment section so we all can get a better understanding of this. But the first step is to label the target a negative, give the target a negative label. Um, Violent, maybe the smear campaign could be the person is a violent person, the person is a pedophile, a rapist, mentally ill. They use that one a lot, just about for every target, I believe. Domestic terrorists, and once you're labeled, they can get people to go along with it. So because no one really reveals much to us, we can't get people to tell us what they know and what's going on. And like you said, with your family members, why are they doing this? You could know people all your life and they still, they won't say much, about what they know. So some kind of way they're sworn to secrecy. Now, I have heard that when people are contacted, because obviously they've been contacted by someone, I've heard when they're contacted that they're told that if they reveal anything, that they could possibly be charged with treason. And treason, as you know, is a crime against your country. So, which comes along with serious consequences. So, who wants to be charged with treason? So, I believe that is what's keeping people quiet. And of course, they don't want to be in our shoes. So, a lot of people go along to get along. They go along with it. Uh, they shouldn't, but they do. And it's something that you would not do to your relatives, but they're obviously doing it to you. Um, so the first thing is to get a smear on you, is to get some kind of negative connotation hanging over your head, so that so that people don't want to deal with you. Most of the time we can kind of figure out what that smear campaign is. I think there's more than one label on me, and I think I have a couple of them figured out, and there's probably more. But it doesn't matter. The point is they're doing what they're doing, and they shouldn't be doing it. But going back to what I said about no one really revealing too much, we don't get very much information. So all we can do is piece together the things that that we find to be credible, that we've heard or that we've seen on a video or on television or whatever. Okay, so I'll share with you what I have pieced together over the years. There is a video that I recently watched, and I would recommend that anybody listen to this watch it, and I will put the link to this in the comment section of this video. but it's called Inside the FBI Hunt for Black Identity Extremists. And this was done, a documentary done by Vice TV. Vice TV, as you guys know, also did a video on targeted individuals. But this one gave me a lot of insight. It talked about a group of people, um, and I forget their names. I forget the name of this group, but they will remind you of the Black Panthers. And what they do is they live, I believe, in Texas, and they believe in open carry, which is legal where they live, which means you can carry a weapon and it can be in plain sight. You're not allowed to use the weapon, but you can carry your weapon, and they believe in that, and that is part of their rights in the area in which they live. They also do weapons training. They go out in the woods and they learn to shoot their weapons, and they do some sort of martial arts, and they feed the community. And I think they do something like the guardian angels. If you guys remember the guardian angels, they would stand on the corner and they walk people home and try to keep the area safe. So these people do things like that. They even feed people in the community. Well, the FBI arrested the leader and labeled the group um, Black extremists, I think they call them. Black identity extremists is what they call them. And so they gave them that label. They called them domestic terrorists, which these people have done nothing wrong. They have been labeled as domestic terrorists. And so what I got from watching that is that once you are labeled, and actually they said in the documentary, once the FBI has you labeled as an extremist group, then they are justified in targeting you and using all of the FBI tactics. And so I believe that is what has happened to us. Now, we obviously probably have not been labeled Black identity extremists, but we have been labeled something. And I don't know exactly what. We call ourselves targeted individuals. I don't know if that's what they call us, but they have definitely labeled the targeted individuals something. Domestic terrorists, maybe. I don't know. But something is justifying them doing what they're doing to us and getting other people involved. So I believe that once they have us labeled, then they can they can be justified in bringing other people from the community in to surveil us. Now that's what I believe is going on. Okay, but of course this is all covert, so it's hard to kind of confirm anything. But I have gathered that from watching that video and just from my life and just observing everything. And then there's a story out there on the internet about a lady, and her name is Jane Cleft. And she complained about something in her area. She was over in Canada, I believe, and she complained about something having to do with City Hall or something like that. I don't remember the story exactly, but she ended up suing, and I believe she won um, because she was put on a violent persons registry. So once she was put on this registry, this lady was surveilled, and she was dealing with all this targeting stuff. And it was all because she spoke out about something. Okay, so that's how she ended up on the list. Then we have um, the video, which I'm sure you guys have seen. It was a "What Would You Do" video, and they were just demonstrating how they could get people to go along with stuff. And they showed, like, at the grocery store, this guy flashed his badge and he said, there's a person in there that took a baby, go get the baby. And then the person went in there and took the baby. Then the same guy got someone to put some drugs in someone's drink, although it wasn't real drugs, because it was a whole demonstration thing going on. But because these people saw this badge and they assumed that this person was an authority figure, which he really was not, because he was doing this, filming this show, they went along with it. So I think it's the same case with us. Somebody is approaching them. They may or may not be an authority figure, but we've been taught to respect authority, so they go along with it. Okay. And then think back to the video I did not long ago when I talked about how at a place where I worked, where my supervisor called me in and told me, this person is not, we're watching her, talking about another employee, we're watching her. And, it's probably not a good idea for you to hang around her, and we'll give you, you're doing real good around here. So we want to make sure that you separate yourself from her. And, we're going to be giving you an office pretty soon. So see, there goes that incentive. See? So I pay attention to stuff like that. And so when I go through what I go through at work, I already know. That's what they did to the people who they turned against me at work, or who they turned against me in the neighborhood. That same thing that they tried to do to me at work. The same stuff they were telling me. This person, we're watching this person. She's not doing a good job, and there's some things going on with her. So it's best for you to separate yourself. Well, basically, what that is saying is shun that person. We have that person blacklisted and we want you to shun that person. Well, that's the same thing that's going on with us. Now, had I gone along with that, which I didn't, but had I gone along with that, then later they would have been trying to get me to do some tactics on the person. So, we just have to piece together the things that we have learned along this TI journey. And that'll put together the story about how and why people are going along with this. The whole family thing, it's very hard to deal with, because these are the people who, when you're going through a hardship like this, these are the people who you would normally lean on, but all of a sudden they're not there. And I think most targets have experienced that. Like, one by one, people were just bailing out. But you know what? It is what it is. And going back to what I was saying earlier about, not everybody is supposed to be in your life. We want these people there, but obviously, these people are not in God's master plan for our life, and we have to learn to accept that, as bad as it hurts. Um, they're not supposed to be there, because people come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And obviously, these people were there for a reason. They were there for a season, but they're not supposed to be there. And God does what he does to remove people from our lives. And I'm not saying that, God brought this to your life, although I believe he did for me. Um, but everybody is not supposed to be there. No matter how kind they seem or how much fun you had with them, during certain times of your life, they were not in the plan. So we have to learn to accept that. And again, as hard as that is, because it's hard for me too to have lost certain people that I was used to dealing with, especially family members. But it's just one of those things that we have to accept. Okay, so I hope this video has been helpful. Please leave your comments in the comment section if you have anything to add to this. If you have any thoughts, or if you can confirm uh, what is being said to get people to go along with this, if you know anything about how people are paid, or if they're paid, because like I said, I believe some are and some aren't. So if you have any insight on that, please leave your comments in the comment section. And thank you for listening. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.